Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchese, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you are here with us. We've got an exciting topic that we're going to be covering with you. Make sure, if you are brand new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give us a thumbs up at the end of the video, though. I want to earn that thumbs up from you. So make sure you give that thumbs up to us at the end. And also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified of whenever we put out brand new content just like this. And I'm also accompanied by my good friend that I've known since 1992. So we're coming up 30 years now, 30 years that we've known each other. So Mr. Michael Brennauer, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here, Jason. You're absolutely right. We do have an amazing topic to talk about today, mainly because of all of you guys and gals out there watching this channel right now who have been communicating with us and reaching out to us, booking calls and asking us about what we got going on and how we can help build your blueprints and build your system so you can go out and attack the markets the same way we talk about in these videos. So yeah, Jason, we got an excellent topic to talk about.
No, we do. And this is something that I don't really see a lot of people doing, especially in the real estate, either investor or wholesale community. I don't really see this being implemented. So if you are the type of person that really wants to separate yourself from other people and you're not competing against other deals, you know, that you're going head to head with other individuals and all you're doing is you're inching up the price and it's lowering profits, well, this video is going to be for you, because what we're talking about here is getting in a pre-probate stage. Now, what does that mean? Well, it obviously means the person is still alive, which is great. We love that. And we're going to talk about some really great things here. So make sure you stay tuned all the way until the very end. You don't want to miss anything, because everything is set up in a process for you in today's video so that you have everything in step-by-step format. And if you stay on till the end, we've also got a very special surprise for you. Very big surprise. My gift to you for being a subscriber and watching the video all the way until the end. So, Mike, you've been getting these questions. Yeah. Folks have been wondering, like, well, what's this this pre-probate loophole? And it's kind of a tongue twister.
Well, let me first get into why they even ask these questions. Like I said, again, I'll drop the link below. We have our 2-day blueprint. People will go there. If you click that link that's below right now, you'll see some testimonials and information. But people book these calls because they want to find out what we talk about. I mean, we talk about 30 different lead sources on these YouTube videos with Jason Palliser all the time, and our tax delinquency being one of our most favorite. But then I was just on a call today with a gentleman who is, he's working a 9-to-5. He wants to get out of his job. He sees what's going on right now. He thinks real estate's a good path for him, but he's not sure on what to do. He's like, oh yeah, I heard about your tax delinquent strategy. It sounds great. In fact, he's probably going to get signed up with that just because he wants to do something different. But his question was, hey, besides tax leads, what else could I be doing right now? I heard everybody talk about all these lead sources out there, but I don't have a big budget. I'm not going to be able to buy all these lists. In fact, I'm going to have to work while I'm doing my real estate investing business. So what else could I do? So Jason, this is one of those lead sources besides our tax delinquent that he could do.
Yeah. And one of the reasons how this strategy kind of came about, we've been doing this now for a few years. The first two reasons why is, when my grandmother passed away, it's been a while now, she left the house to my aunt, my mom, and my uncle. So this house was in Elk Grove, Illinois. They bought it probably in the early 50s, and it was never updated. So I think they did an addition on the back of the house, but it was a smaller house. It was like a 3-bedroom. I believe it was a two bath, and it needed lots of updates. It hasn't been updated in a while. House was clean. House was nice. Unfortunately, my grandmother and uncle smoked in the house, so it was, definitely needed to be updated from that standpoint too. But long story short is, my mom, my aunt, and my uncle, this house was on the market for nearly a year. So investors today are they're not going after the probate properties like the right way. They're sending off these letters. They're kind of goofy letters to begin with, and they're not able to get in contact. You're laughing, but it's true. They're not winning the response game. And the second thing that came up for us, after they sold the house and everything was good to go from there. But then again, Not too long ago, my mother-in-law passed. And she was in a really bad position from a cognitive standpoint. She had a really rare disease that is worse than Alzheimer's, very progressive, worked rapidly, and she had a house and a business that she owned. And those were things she wanted to get liquidated before she eventually passed. No, we didn't know that she was going to pass within the short period that she did, but she wanted those things liquidated beforehand. And it just made things so much easier because we eventually had to have her placed in a memory care facility because once you start, going down that path, it's really difficult for the family. And we just want her in a position to where she's safe, secure, comfortable. And not saying she wasn't any of that stuff here, but sometimes she would wake up, didn't know where she was, and she would just start walking. And that becomes dangerous at that point. So once you start being able to identify the things that are needed, you start seeing, Mike, like we needed assistance. It took a little bit for the house to sell. I found out I got an agent off of just asking on Facebook, but nobody reached out. Nobody reached out to me at all. And this is kind of like what triggered me and you to really do this. We started looking at these senior care facilities because I started talking to the folks that my mother-in-law was at. And I'm like, do you guys come across like folks that need to sell houses so that they can stay in this facility? Because I know it's costly. So I talked to a couple folks at a couple different facilities, Mike, and the titles are different. You've got senior care advisor, you've got finance director, you've got a couple different folks that you can talk to. Mm-hmm. And, a great way to find that out, I think you might have had a question about this. So I don't want to jump the gun here.
No, that's great. And I know you're going to get into it because it's a natural progression, but yeah, we do get questions like, well, who do I reach out to and how do I find that out? Because Jason, as you pointed out, there are multiple titles, just like with any kind of lead source. Sometimes there are multiple titles, but with this one specifically, there are multiple titles and it might be different facility by facility. How would you go about finding out who to talk to, who that person is?
Yeah. So for me, like right now, if I had to start completely over and try and find out who and the title of this person is, I would give a call to these facilities and just say, hey, I have a brother, like I do, this is honesty. I have a brother with autism and, I'm looking for a facility that, Jeff could eventually go to. And I wanted to give you guys a call. I wanted to find out who to talk to in your finance department about, pricing and setting things up and what best part of your facility Jeff would be good at. Because, eventually my brother's more than likely going to come stay with me, but I'm giving you an example. And what would happen is somebody from the department, the finance director or elder care advisor, senior care advisor would respond back via email. Maybe we have a conversation over the phone and then she or he, I just say, hey, could you send me some additional information through email? Now in the email, we all have signatures normally in our email, especially when it's a professional environment. And we get that information. When it comes back to us, it has the signature, Mike, and it's got the title of that person in there. So that works out quite well.
Right. And you know what? You don't have, Jason, I know you gave a very specific example and hey, you have this situation that you're able to use. It's not, like you said, not everybody can do that, but you could just as easily say, hey, you know what? I've got a friend, his brother, they're looking at some facilities and I was just reaching out who, like you said, who would I need to talk to? Where do you think they might best be placed? And, they're not going to ask too many details. Oh, okay. Well, what do you know about it? Well, he's just looking for a facility. Okay, well, here's what we offer. Here's who you would talk to. What's the email? Good. Boom. Then you got the contact info.
Yep. And that works well, for us. We're able to get in contact with them. And the one thing I just want to make sure that you guys all understand is we're not coming from a place of desperation. We're not coming from a place of, hey, we just want to get a property.
Right.
We are coming from a place, Mike, to where how can we help? How can we help this person solve their problems, enhance the life of not just them, but the individual that's in this facility.
Well, you know what?
What can we do?
That's the next question that we get. Like I'm talking to Sam on the phone, and we're going into these leads, and okay, not just how do we go over 30 different lead sources, but how do you get these people to respond? How is this person, this director of whatever, going to talk to me and give me the information I want? What trickery, what trickery do I need to persuade them through? And we always say, hey, negotiations and being a real estate investor, it's not about convincing somebody to give you something they don't really want for a price they don't really like. It's about providing solutions. So Jason, when we talk to these folks, how do we provide solutions so they don't just give us the information they need? They're excited about, wow, you guys, I didn't know something like you guys were doing.
Yeah, we don't have any sorcery or anything like that. It's just simply having conversations, just like Mike and I are having conversations right now, in all honesty. The best thing to do is when you do call and talk to these folks, and one of the examples that I would give is, if you are completely unsure on how to execute this, maybe call a facility that's not even in your state. Just dip your feet in the water. Call up, have a conversation. If you make mistakes, that's completely fine. Get yourself comfortable being in uncomfortable situations, especially with this business, because that's when growth happens. Now, one of the things that I would recommend is try and set up a face-to-face with the person that does handle the financing aspect for the residents of the senior living facility. That's going to be one of the big things. And don't call these facilities assisted living facilities. Now, if they say that, that's fine. But these are senior living communities. That's the big thing. And when you are talking to them, just be like, hey, this is my situation and why I'm here talking with you now. I've been in a position to where, my grandmother passed. She left the house to my mom, my aunt, and my uncle. They had to, keep that property up for a year with the real estate agent. They had to pay for everything. They had to get the lawn mowed. They had to pay for taxes. They had to do some minor updates to the property. And I can guarantee my grandmother more than likely didn't want them in that situation. She probably would have just had them sell the property while she was alive. And one of the things I can tell you right now is we are real estate investors and we want to help out some of your residents here. Do you have any residents right now that, are in a position to where they need to sell a house that they left behind to come to your facility? Because if they do, that could be a really great way for us to help the individuals that are the power of attorneys. And we could also help out in a situation to where these folks can stay here longer. Because if you don't understand this, Medicaid and Medicare, if they find out that you have a house, let's just say it's worth $200,000 and it's paid off, they will have you sell that in order for you to get qualified down the road. And you have to use all $200,000 cash before you could even go through the process of getting approved through Medicaid, Medicare. So it's a lengthy process. And most people, these facilities, you're not going to have insurance help you. You're going to be paying out of your pocket for this. Cash out of pocket.
And let's get into this too. When the property does go into probate, just much like, again, I always reference our tax delinquent, what we like the most, but once it gets into that situation and now essentially the government's involved and there's a bunch of bureaucracy and red tape you got to get through, that individual, those family members, they now have an even a more ginormous problem to go through. And let's just say, mother did go to the facility and was there for a little while, but then, they let her stay for 2 or 3 months because, hey, you know what, you're going to sell the house, we'll get you taken care of. But then in the end, they didn't. Now they've got this huge bill from this care facility and this property that they can't sell because now the family's, they're arguing, or maybe not even arguing. I mean, I don't know, Jason, there aren't too many situations.
I'll tell you this. When we had hospice come in, because we obviously had some disagreements with family on our side when my mother-in-law was going through the stuff that she was going through, we asked them, does this happen a lot? The answer was just astounding. It was actually, I was kind of thrown quite back. 8 out of 10 families, they're always arguing over money. And I was like, really? That's such a high number. Because at the end of the day, all that I care about is that person's still being with us. Money, some people might think money's everything, and it's not. Money comes when you know what your purpose is and you know what your why is. That will come and it'll help enhance and help you get to your why.
Right.
And the only way that your why happens is by you putting in massive action. So it's unfortunate, Mike. 8 out of 10 families suffer from disagreements and
Right.
a bunch of
But
nonsense.
that's why what we're talking about right now is so valuable, because once we get on the phone and Jason, we're talking to these folks there about the solutions we can provide. We're not just, coming in and saying, hey, we buy houses and we see that there's this, unique situation where we could take advantage of it. It's like, hey, if you hadn't personally been in that situation, again, go back to my previous example. Hey, a good friend of mine, he was in this situation. He was telling me about it. It sounded really painful. And, as investors, there's actually a way we've been able to help some folks. We've been reaching out, and I know there's a lot of, kind of bad stuff going out there with people getting taken advantage of. And, we're just trying to make, a fair offer, fair solutions. And sometimes it's not always, just putting cash in somebody's pocket. Sometimes it's something else, but, we're just reaching out, see, we can't help everybody we talk to. We just try to be a solution for everybody that we speak with.
Yeah.
And go into what you can do.
And hey, Mike, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry if I did, but this definitely has to be a point that is driven home. The main focus right now for folks, okay, it's completely different after they pass, because they're like, how much am I going to get? How much am I going to get? Right. After they do funeral expenses, which is probably going to be anywhere between $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Now, when the individual is still with us, they're still alive, which is a beautiful thing. The focus then doesn't go on how much am I going to get? No, it's shifted now more towards mom. It's shifted now towards dad. It's not on how much are we going to get. Some folks, yeah, they're going to be greedy and be like, we need to get them in a cheaper facility. Some folks, unfortunately, are like that. It's pretty scummy in my opinion, but that's just me. My mom, my dad, if they want to go to a facility like that someday and, we take care of it, great. That's them. No, my mom, though, she's probably not going to be in a facility like that. She's still, super active, and my dad is too. So I don't know what will happen with that, but not to get off on a tangent, just letting you know that the focus is completely different compared to a probate versus a pre-probate, if that makes sense, Mike.
No, it is because you're going after the problem basically before it is a problem. You're saying, hey, you know what? We've seen this before. They see it coming. They know the problem. The real problem is they don't know who they can actually talk to, because everybody's coming in. They think it's going to take advantage of them. They're very, there's a lot of mistrust going on. Anybody that reaches out, it's like, oh, you want to take advantage of me? Great, let me talk to you. No. So the problem really is, how do you reach out to these folks in a way? And that's why you reach out through the facility and explain to them, hey, here's what we're able to do. And just show them, hey, this is what I'm doing, step, A through Z. I talk to folks and, hey, we can't be a solution for everybody, or we can't buy everybody's house and whatnot, but we do try to be a solution for everybody that we speak with. Sometimes, grass gets out of control and, you guys are trying to figure out what to do with that, or sometimes moving things out of the property, is a situation. So whether or not we buy the house, that's not really the issue. It's just being a solution. It's just, here's what we do. And you're getting to that before it goes to, the probate, before it gets to a problem for the family, where Jason, not just like you said, like all those times, what was it? 8 out of 10 times?
Yeah.
8 out of 10 times that people argue. How many of those 8 times is there a permanent and insolvable problem that family faces, that, they don't talk to each other ever again?
Oh, yeah.
Or, who knows what happens? There's a lot of that. I mean, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. When somebody passes away, greed takes over, especially if there's some money involved. And most of the time, those relationships are never rekindled.
Right.
You never talk to that. More than likely, you're in a situation where you're probably never going to talk to those folks again.
Right. And that's the problem, right? That's the problem you're here to solve. Not, how can I sell this house? Somebody will buy the house. That's not really a problem. The problem is, how can I prevent you guys from ending up in this terrible situation? And then Jason, after we reach out to these folks, because here's the next question I got. After we go over this lead, and well, here's another source you can get out to. Here's how you can reach out to them without spending, let the other investors dump 10, 15 grand a month trying to mail to these folks. Here's how you can make a quick phone call and make the connection with the one person and get all these leads coming to your email box. And here's what you would say to that person. So, they'll listen to you and book a call, and they'll be interested and actually send you leads. After we've won all that response and done all that for, a fraction of a cent, how do I fulfill on that? Like, so maybe they send me a property, or they send me somebody who's got a house and it's free and clear. How do I make them a cash offer? What do I do?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I know we've been getting a lot of those. I think that one was from Leon, who you were talking to the other day.
I think so.
So one of the things with that is we're going to look at it from a real estate wholesaling standpoint and a real estate investor standpoint. Real estate investor standpoint, you should have your private money in place, or you should have relationships built already with local mom and pop banks. They're going to give you 100% financing. At least that's what we're seeing from a lot of banks. Another company that you could use is Finance of America if you're not set up with them already. But I essentially want to talk to you about real estate wholesaling, doing that exit strategy. The best thing to do is, if you don't have a cash buyer in the area that the person has the residence that they're wanting to sell, you shouldn't be making an offer on that property unless you could do like a JV partner with somebody that does have cash buyers there. You want to be able to do the deals where you've got cash buyers. If you don't have a cash buyers list already built up, then don't even start this strategy until you do. Mark this as a property. Mark this as a video property. Mark this as a video saved on YouTube that you could come back to. We've got plenty of cash buyer videos, and I'll put them in the comment section below that you could check out. Build that cash buyers list first. Find out exactly what your buyers want, so that when you make your offer, you can close within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks at the very most. As long as you have that property priced appropriately for yourself to pick it up, and then you could promptly resell it for a profit, then you're in good shape. You're able to sell it. You're able to do an assignment fee. Now, if you are in a state like Illinois, best thing to do at that standpoint is you're not going to be able to do the assignment. You're going to do what's called an A to B, B to C transaction. Now, if you want those things a little bit more explained to you, then I would highly recommend going to 2dayblueprint.com. A link will be below. Just schedule a time. We'll have a talk and kind of explain things a little bit more for you. Plus, we have 30 different ways to get deals. 18 of those ways are absolutely free. So that's what I would recommend there, Mike.
Well, and you know what? Here's another thing, because as you might have noticed, I'm not in Jason's office right now. I'm in my own little piece of paradise where I like to work from home and have my own little thing going on. But the reason for that is because there is, we're also full-time investors. We have a lot going on as well. But we also do try to stay engaged with you folks. So we still release the video. We still want to connect, because these properties, let's just say, as cash buyers first, as a responsible business owner, you should go back through our videos. Jason's going to have the links below, but we have videos on building cash buyers, several videos that go in different approaches on how you can build your cash buyers list. So that's not really an obstacle at this point. Jason said that just to say, hey, if you haven't done this first, mark this video right now on pre-probates as a to-do item. Go back and scroll down a little bit, basically, under the links. Click the cash buyers list, work on that first, come back to the pre-probate strategy, reach out to some of these folks. Because then, and Jason, also in the last video, I think we talked about, we actually give away the contracts, the assignment agreements, the JV agreements. So all that stuff there is all ready for you in place. It's just about reaching out to these folks. So like the phone call I had this morning where people, the guy, Steven, he's working a full-time, working 9 to 5. But again, sees real estate as the way out. And Jason, that's the reason we're doing this video today. It's because this is just another lead source that you could go to that, hey, he's working 9 to 5. He could approach this, set up a quick couple of those calls, right? So Jason, what would you say to somebody that's saying, I'm working 9 to 5. How would I set my day up to approach this pre-probate so I can still work my 9 to 5, but I can reach these people and, reach some cash buyers and close a deal?
Yeah, before you start calling and doing all the stuff that we've been mentioning on this call, once you have your cash buyers built up, which you can build up within a week if you wanted to. Once you have that set up, I would set aside maybe like some time before you go to work, like a couple hours before you get to work, a couple hours after work. Those are things that you could be doing. Now, to implement this strategy, you're obviously going to need to do some stuff during the day. So on your lunch break, most people get like an hour break. I would be calling these folks and finding out who is the right person to be talking to. We've given out like 3 different titles. More than likely, it's going to be one of those 3. Sometimes it's different. It goes different from facility to facility. And the best thing to do at that standpoint is once you have something put together, I would definitely set up a time to go and, meet with somebody. Now that meeting might only take 30 minutes. So I would do it on your lunch break. That day I would probably pack something light and eat something on your way there in the car. And then once you get there, you're good. And then you have 15 minutes to get back to your job. And you could have a nice 30-minute conversation. It shouldn't be longer than that. And you could just kind of explain some of the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
And, one of the big things, Mike, if we can get 60 thumbs up on this video and 60 comments of folks that are really digging this information that we're sharing right now, we'll go ahead and give you our pre-probate checklist. So just put a comment down what you enjoyed most about the video. And we'll go ahead, as long as we get 60 thumbs up and 60 comments, we'll share that with you. It's absolutely priceless. It's going to be able to help get you to your first one of these deals. So it's all we're asking is just a small token of appreciation from you guys that are part of our tribe here, part of our community. But that's what I would recommend there, Mike.
Well, hey, listen, and when it comes to these checklists, listen, folks, when you book your 2-day blueprint call, and again, the link will pop up, one of the things we talk about is the perfect investor day. And we get hit up with this all the time. Like, what does that look like? What is it for? It separates what people mean when we use the word consistency. When most folks in YouTube land, video, Facebook world, whatever you want to go look at, they say consistency, it always means be consistent with your mailers. Keep sending the letter. Just keep hitting them that text message. Keep calling them over and over. Just keep dumping basically marketing dollars, throwing spaghetti against the wall, waiting to see what sticks. That's what they mean. When we say be consistent, we say it with continue following this perfect investor day. Do this checklist. Make sure that you follow these steps every single day. It'll take you X amount of hours. Now, obviously the checklist for the pre-probate is not going to be less than the whole perfect investor day, but like with the perfect investor day, hey, 2.5 hours, this is how long it's going to take you to execute all these steps. Be consistent doing these steps. So when you get the pre-probate checklist, be consistent with following those steps. And then that's how you get a deal, not by, spending thousands of marketing dollars trying to be the letter that's always on top of the pile. So when that person eventually reaches a point of total frustration, they're like, I'm so mad. I'll call this person, sell the house. That's not how you want to get a lead. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it really does. No, and this strategy, really, Mike, have we talked about anything that's going to cost you any money to do this strategy?
At this point, no. You haven't spent the dime on anything.
That's what I thought. So some of the things that you can spend money on is after you talk to somebody over the phone or after you meet with somebody, I would send out a thank you card.
Yeah.
Just a nice little handwritten thank you card. Trust me. That in today's world of technology goes such a long way.
It's almost unheard of.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in handwritten like thank you messages. Oh man, that's a huge separator in my opinion. That's going to help you out tremendously. So definitely do that. So that's cost of a stamp. So far this strategy is going to cost you like a few dollars.
Yeah, like we have people that we work with, Jason, and every once in a while they send you a thank you package or a thank you, letter or a thank you something, and it's always personal. It's got handwritten signatures and everything on there, and in some of the cases a personal message from an interaction we've had. So it's like, oh yeah, you have that good relationship. So when you do that thank you letter to the folks and you let that person, hey, thanks for your time, I really appreciate it. Again, it's like a marketing funnel. It's not a concept. It's not, here's a bunch of letters, here's a bunch of techniques, here's a bunch of stuff you can do. It's no, find out who the person is, get their title, call the folk or call the person, have this conversation. And then when you're done, send them this thank you letter. It's a checklist of things that you need to do and be consistent with, not calling him over and over again until he just changes his phone number. Because you know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I hear you. And, you know, I hope you guys have enjoyed this strategy. We love it. This is such a great strategy. You're helping folks and you're getting paid really, really well to be doing it. When you could get paid really, really well to be helping people that have, you know, multiple problems, it's actually, it feels really good to be in that particular situation. So if you would like to get the checklist, make sure you give us a thumbs up. We need 60 of those and we need 60 comments. So put your comment below. Just give us some feedback on what you thought of the video and let us know that you would like the checklist from today's video. But Mike, any parting words?
Nope. Just post your comments below. And like we did this video today, we'll get back to more of those questions. If you book your call, your 2-day blueprint call below, we'll go over a few more things that we've got going on, how this is kind of like 1 out of 30 waves we get into. And, you know, I gather more questions from you guys and come back, make videos with Jason. So just stay involved.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Make sure if you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber, hit that notification bell, and I will see you. Well, Mike and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye now.